Welcome to the return of our daily sports update. My name is Lewis. Sorry, it's been a while. The Super Bowl was kind of the getting ready for the Super Bowl was kind of the last video we did. I actually went on vacation, took a trip, and went out of town. And it was kind of hard to try to keep up with sports when you're out of town. So, uh, decided to take a little bit of a mental break there. Was doing a lot, and so hopefully I can get what couple people I had back and build an audience. I do have a different channel where or on this channel, we actually do some game stuff. Right now, it's currently Fortnite, but I've got a new system coming in that maybe I can do some videoing of, and we'll put some silly stuff on there. This is intended to be a fun channel, so hopefully that'll work. Plus, it gives my kids a chance to do an outlet on it as well. And as time goes on, I know my daughter is interested in doing like baking stuff, and we may use the same format to try it out. But if you've not done our sports version, what we basically do is go over the day in sports, just kind of do a quick discussion, what I call a water cooler talk, so that you have just enough knowledge to be able to at least fake your way through it. So as we start off today, we're going to hit each sport, the major sports that we cover at this point. For example, we don't cover tennis unless it's a big event that's going on or major news. Same thing with golf, NASCAR. Those aren't unimportant sports, but because they're very limited, for example, racing, unless something happens during the week, someone, opts out of racing. The big race happens on the weekend. The golf tournament, sometimes you may be interested who's winning the first or second round, but you want to know who wins the tournament if you care at all. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start off talking a little bit of baseball, kind of prepare you for the season. If you didn't know, today we had our first preseason game of the 2024 season, and it involved the Los Angeles Dodgers and the San Diego Padres. Final score was 14-1, and it was played in Peoria, Arizona. Not many big things happened there. We can tell you a little bit of, that, let's see, they had a lot of players play. In total, again, 14 runs. Uh, the Dodgers had multiple pitchers, and they all pitched one inning. And the Padres had more than that. They pitched a third of an inning. Uh, we got one pitcher that gave up 6 of the runs. Excuse me, that was Moises Lugo. And so, overall 14-1, getting ready to know that baseball's coming up. All right. College football, couple things to bring up. This happened a couple days ago, but we do want to mention it, that Alabama is replacing their longtime radio announcer, Eli Gold. Ever since I've heard Alabama football, that's the only name I'd heard of. So hearing that he's being let go is kind of different. And it's going to start with the spring football game. And it says he's been the voice for 35 years, so almost all my life. 7 national title games, 11 SEC games, and 35 total bowl games. So it looks like they'll be replacing him with Chris Stewart, who I guess has been involved with the network since 1998. So, and when Eli had missed time for diagnosis of cancer, Stewart had actually filled in for him. Now, Eli said he's not planning on retiring, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. University of Texas Regents approved Steve Sarkisian's extension and raise, and so he is the most recent coach to be the $10 million man. And so they gave him a raise through 2030, and his guaranteed salary is just over $10 million for this year. And the 4-year extension makes him one of the highest paid coaches in the country. So congrats to Sark and the work that he did there in Texas. The other thing is there's discussion about the college football playoff. I'm not going to get into that right now because that's just a big headache. I will say that they did announce, and I missed this prior, that there will be an NCAA or an EA Sports college football game. And so that'll be neat to see them back. And I did remember a couple days ago it said that Notre Dame is actually going to be one of the teams available on there. So even with the mess of name and image and likeness, they're still going to be a part. So that's kind of cool. And that's all for the college football scene that we'll talk about today. College football, college basketball. Amongst the things about the women's game, there was a big game this past weekend with South Carolina and UConn. Actually, might have been 2 weekends ago, but South Carolina put a hurting on UConn and dropped them down. Uh, Most recently, Iowa's Caitlin Clark did become the all-time leader in women's college basketball. There were some controversial statements made, and we're going to avoid those, and we're just going to say congrats to Caitlin, incredible feat, and between that and Sabrina Ionescu competing with Steph Curry in a three-point contest during the NBA's All-Star Weekend, that was kind of cool. That just finished this last weekend, so it was good to see that we're seeing some of the women getting the opportunities and hopefully can promote their games because I think the games are getting better, but they need an audience if they want to make more income with that. So as far as the college games themselves, we go over the top 25. We'll discuss those really briefly. Number 2, Ohio State continued their winning ways. They won 82-69 over Penn State. Number 20, Louisville won 80-62 over Georgia Tech. South Carolina remains the only undefeated, winning 72-44 at home against Alabama. Duke upsets number 17 Syracuse 58-45. Number 19 Notre Dame wins 74-47. Number 6 NC State loses at North Carolina 80-70. LSU wins 71-66 over Auburn. LSU ranked 13th in the nation. Excuse me there. Number 16 Gonzaga with a 74-48 win over San Francisco. Number 12 UCLA wins at home against number 18 Utah 82-52. And then in the upset of the day, number 4 Iowa loses on the road at number 14 Indiana 86-69. Clark still puts up 24 points, but again ends up being in a loss. So big win for Indiana at home there. On the men's side of things, I'm a little. If you haven't discovered, I'm a Connecticut fan, and it was this weekend they came up with the first. I don't know what you would call it, the first draft or the first edition of what they believe to be the seeding for the men's college basketball tournament, who the top seeds would be. And even though UConn had been on a 14-game winning streak and had been doing pretty well for a good part of the season, they still believed Purdue, who was number 2, would be the number 1 seed. And Purdue went out, that was on Saturday afternoon, and then Saturday night, Purdue went out and lost. And then UConn went on Sunday and beat number 4 Marquette handily, over 20 points. And then UConn, for the first time in ages, was a unanimous number 1 pick. And then they went out Tuesday and lost. So we'll be interested to see how the rankings come out next Sunday. Speaking of Purdue, they were 96-68 winners at home against Rutgers. And number 4 Arizona is upset at home against number 21 Washington State, 77-74. Now, when we last spoke, the hockey season was just getting ready to come back from their All-Star break. And so as we look at the games, the Ottawa Senators win at home against the Dallas Stars 4-1. Detroit wins at home 2-1 against the Avalanche in overtime. Detroit scored the goal in the third period and then the overtime goal. Washington wins on the road at Tampa Bay 5-3. The Rangers win in New Jersey 5-1. The Penguins win at home against the Canadiens 4-1. The Hurricanes, with a third period goal, win at home 1-0, with Sebastian Aho getting the winning goal in the final minutes of the game. The St. Louis Blues shut out the Islanders 4-0 at home. The Toronto Maple Leafs win at Vegas 7-3. They scored 4 goals in the first period, 6 in the first 2, and Golden Knights couldn't come back. The Seattle Kraken win at home against the Canucks 5-2, and the Nashville Predators win at Los Angeles 4-1 against the Kings. Oh, I did forget a game. The Calgary Flames win at home 3-2 in overtime against the Bruins. It seems like the Bruins have had a struggle over the last 10 games. As we look at their record, they in the last 10 are 4-3-3. However, they are still in first place in the the Atlantic Division and in the Eastern Conference. They've got 80 points. The Florida Panthers are second in the Atlantic with 78 points. The Rangers are first in the Metropolitan. They have 79 points. Then you have Carolina in second place there with 73 points. In the Western Conference, the Vancouver Canucks also have 80 points, and they have a 10-point lead on the Vegas Knights in the Pacific. And in the Central, Dallas Stars have 76 points, the Colorado Avalanche 75, and the Winnipeg Jets 73. So if you look at overall, it'd be Vancouver, then Colorado, then Winnipeg, and then Vegas. So those are your hockey standings. And so now we'll go into our last sport of the day. We're going to talk some basketball. Now, the last we spoke, they were not yet to the All-Star break. We did just have the All-Star festivities this last weekend. Damian Lillard with a big weekend, winning the three-point contest and MVP of the All-Star game. However, a lot of negative feedback on the All-Star game as it showed a lack of defense as it was turning into more of an entertainment piece. So if you watched it and you enjoyed it, that's great because it's supposed to be for the fans. But today was the first day back from the All-Star break. So let's see how some of these games went. So Steph Curry scores 32 to lead the Warriors past where did my scores go? Past the Lakers. The Lakers did play without LeBron James. However, again, the final score was 128-110. Warriors win at home. Golden State again. Steph had 32 points. He had a plus-minus of 25. Very good to have him on the floor. He also had 8 assists. They also got 20 points from Andrew Wiggins, and they got 17 from Tracy Jackson Davis. So nice surprise name to see there. For the Lakers, they were led and scored by Anthony Davis, who had 27 points and 15 rebounds. They also got 18 points and 9 assists from D'Angelo Russell and 16 points from Austin Reeves, but it wasn't enough. Again, Lakers lose 128-110 to Golden State. The Kings score surge of points late, and they end up holding off the Spurs 127-122. For the Kings, they were led in scoring by De'Aaron Fox, who had 28 points and 9 assists. They also got 22 points and 11 assists and 11 rebounds, another triple-double for Domantas Sabonis, who's really having an under-the-radar season because you don't hear about him much, but he's having consistently double-doubles and triple-doubles, so be on the lookout for Sacramento if they make the playoffs. And they also got 21 each from Kevin Huerter and Malik Monk. For the Spurs, they did have 6 players in double digits, led by Devin Vassal's 32 points and 7 assists. They also got 19 points, 13 rebounds from Victor Wembanyama, and they got 18 from Keldon Johnson. But again, it wasn't enough. They tried to come back, but Kings were able to hold them off 127-122. For the Denver Nuggets, they end up winning big at home against the Wizards 130-110. Jokic puts up yet another triple-double. Let's see, give you his numbers here. Jokic, 21 points, 19 rebounds, 15 assists. They also got 22 points from Michael Porter Jr. He had 11 rebounds, and technically Porter led the team in scoring. And they got 18 from Jamal Murray with 8 assists. For the Wizards, they were led in scoring by Kyle Kuzma, who had 31 points and 12 rebounds. They also got 18 from Jordan Poole, and they got Tyus Jones had 13 points and 14 assists. But again, it wasn't enough. Wizards lose by 20 at Denver. The Hornets end up breaking up their losing streak in Utah with a 115-107 win. The Hornets were led in scoring by Miles Bridges' 26 points and 14 rebounds. They also got 24 points from Grant Williams, the former Celtic and former Maverick. So good to see that he's stepping up and getting the opportunity there. He was 6 of 11 from 3. And so that had definitely helped there. And Brandon Miller scored 16. They also got, I saw that. I already told you that one. For the Utah Jazz, they were led in scoring by Lauri Markkanen's 21 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. They also got 17 points from Colin Sexton and 16 from Keontae George. Not enough, though, as the Hornets, again, break their losing streak in Utah. The Pelicans continue their hot ways as they win 127-105 at home against the Houston Rockets. The Pelicans were led in scoring by CJ McCollum had 28 points and 6 assists and 6 rebounds. Zion had 27, but had 9 assists. It's good to see that he's really starting to develop the game that everybody expected him to have when he came out of Duke. They also got 20 points, 14 rebounds from Jonas Valanciunas, and 17 from Herbert Jones. For the Rockets, they were led in scoring by Amen Thompson's 22 points. They also got 20 from Alperen Sengun and his 9 rebounds, but it wasn't enough. Again, Pelicans continuing their hot ways. The Clippers lose in Oklahoma City, 129-107. So a big win for the Thunder. We'll go over the standings here in a second. It'll make a little more sense. The Oklahoma City was led in scoring by, of course, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He had 31 points and 8 assists. They also got 17 points and 10 rebounds from Chet Holmgren, 18 points from Jalen Williams, 19 from Lou Dort. For the Clippers, they were led in scoring by Kawhi Leonard, who had 20 points. They also got 13 points and 12 rebounds for Ivica Zubac. They got 14 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists from Paul George, 17 from Harden, even got 19 from Norman Powell, but again, wasn't enough. They lose by 22, the Clippers do, on the road at Oklahoma City. In a big promoted matchup, the Dallas Mavericks win their 7th in a row, 123-113 over the Phoenix Suns as they played in Dallas. Dallas was led in scoring by Luka's 41 points, 11 assists, 9 rebounds. Kyrie Irving chipped in 29 and 5 rebounds to help them. The Suns were led in scoring by Devin Booker's 35 points, 8 assists. Durant scored 23 and had 6 rebounds. Eric Gordon had 16. But all that was not enough as the Dallas Mavericks pull out a big win at home against Phoenix. Orlando, 116, Cleveland, 109. Game was played in Cleveland. Big win there for the Magic. Magic were led in scoring by Mo Wagner's 22 points. He also had 7 rebounds. They also got 14 from Franz Wagner. For Cleveland, they were led in scoring by 3 separate players who had 18 points. Jared Allen had 18 and 10 rebounds. Max Strus also had 18, and Darius Garland had 18 with 10 assists. The Cavaliers did play without Donovan Mitchell, and so they end up falling. 7-point loss there to the Cleveland Cavaliers, or Cleveland loses to the Orlando Magic. The Indiana Pacers with a big win at home, 129-115 over the Detroit Pistons. The Pacers were led in scoring by Tyrese Halliburton. He had 25 points. He also had 13 assists. Miles Turner with a double-double of 13 points, 11 rebounds. And Pascal Siakam scored 20 to help the Pacers. Pistons were led in scoring by Cade Cunningham, who provided 30 points. He also had 8 assists. Jalen Duren also had 15 with 13 rebounds, but again, wasn't enough. Pacers cruised to a victory. The Knicks win in Philadelphia, 110-96. Philly still playing without Joel Embiid. That's a big loss for them not to be in place. Bojan Bogdanovic, the newer Knick, scored 22 points. Jalen Brunson continuing his is possible call for an MVP with 21 points, 12 assists. They also got 18 each from Precious Achua and Josh Hart, both of whom had double-digit rebounds as well, so good game for them. For the Sixers, they were led in scoring by Tyrese Maxey, who chipped in 35 big points. Unfortunately, the next highest scorer was Buddy Hield and Kelly Oubre, who both had 14. Again, wasn't enough. A 14-point win for the Knicks. 2 more games to go and we'll be done. The Brooklyn Nets lose on the road at Toronto, 121-93. Toronto was led in scoring by Gary Trent Jr.'s 25 points, and they also had Emmanuel Quickley, who scored 24 points. For the Brooklyn Nets, they got 19 from Cam Thomas, and they got 11 from Lonnie Walker Jr. Nobody else, I'm sorry, and 21, I knew I missed one, 21 from Mikal Bridges, who had, those are your 3 double-digit scores. Just in case you're keeping track, the Ben Simmons watch, 2 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, and a minus 23 rating. Big win for the Raptors, 121-93. And, of course, as a Celtic fan, we finish with the Celtics winning their 7th straight game, winning in Chicago 129-112. The Celtics were led in scoring by Derek White, who had 28 points and 5 assists. Jason Tatum, 25 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. They also got 21 from Jaylen Brown. Kristaps Porzingis, a quieter night, had 14 points, 4 rebounds. But it's okay because they won. The Bulls were led in scoring by Nikola Vucevic, who had 22 points and 14 rebounds. They also got 20 points from Kobe White, and they got 19 from DeMar DeRozan. But it wasn't enough. Celtics with a big win, 129-112. Now, when we look at the overall standings, the Celtics are still in first place, got a 7-game lead on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Then the Milwaukee Bucks are in third, New York Knicks in fourth, Philly in fifth, Pacers in sixth. And right now, your 4 teams playing in the playing games would be the 7th-seeded Magic, the 8th-seeded Heat, the 9th-seeded Bulls, the 10th-seeded Hawks. On the western side of things, Minnesota has a 1-game lead on the Oklahoma City Thunder, 2.5-game lead on both the Clippers, who are number 3, and Denver Nuggets, who are number 4. 5.5-game lead on the Pelicans, who are 5th, and then a 6.5-game lead on the Mavericks, who, with the big win today, bumped themselves. If the playoffs were to start today, Dallas would avoid the play-in game, and Phoenix, who's the 7th seed with the same record, would have to play in it. Sacramento is your 8th seed. The Lakers are still in as your 9th seed, and Golden State as your 10th seed. Those are your daily sports. Sorry, it's been a long video, but we had to play some catch-up. I will let you know that I mentioned earlier we're going to do a discussion on the Patriots Super Bowl wins. We'll take individual videos and just talk about those, but that'll come sometime later. Until then, though, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully it's a help to you. And until the next time, have a great night.